All right, let's just jump right in. We're not just looking at the next quarter for big tech. We're going to try something a little different. We are going to look way, way down the road, projecting out 2 whole decades to imagine a potential future for the giants that basically run our world, from right now all the way to 2045.
And according to this forecast, the next 20 years, well, it's not going to be some simple, straightforward evolution. It's being framed as something much, much bigger, almost mythological, really. A war of the digital gods for the future of society, civilization, humanity itself.
So who's in the ring for this epic clash? Well, the roster has some very familiar names, the titans we all know. But as you're about to see, there are some seriously powerful new challengers on the scene, ready to completely flip the board.
So here's our lineup. You've got the classic GAFAM crew: Google, Apple, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft. But joining them are the new heavyweights: NVIDIA, the absolute powerhouse behind the AI chip boom; Tesla, with its huge ambitions in robotics and AI; and of course, OpenAI. These are the 8 players on the verge of a conflict that is projected to literally reshape our entire world.
The war kicks off with Phase 1, the Great Upheaval, and they call it that for a reason. This isn't some slow, gentle transition. Think of it more like a shockwave, a chaotic meteor strike, where the old rules of the tech world just get shattered by the insane, meteoric rise of artificial intelligence.
And what's really wild here is just the raw speed of this disruption. The projection says that by 2026, NVIDIA isn't just selling chips anymore. It's renting out these powerful AI models, these digital brains, to entire countries. Just 1 year later, Apple supposedly starts phasing out the iPhone for Vision Air glasses. By 2029, Microsoft and OpenAI merge into, well, what's described as a quasi-state entity, wielding power that rivals actual governments. Then bam, 2030, Amazon completely changes logistics with 10 million humanoid robots. And by 2032, Tesla makes a hard pivot, stopping car sales to become a robotaxi subscription service. The world we know, it changes, and it changes fast.
And if you want to see the cost of that change, the casualty of that speed, look no further than this number. One of the biggest victims in this scenario is predicted to be Google. By 2028, its classic search traffic is projected to just collapse by a staggering 40% as we all shift to using AI agents instead. For a company like Google, that's not just a problem, it's a full-blown existential crisis. Reinvent yourself completely or you die.
So, look, the big takeaway here is this. This isn't some abstract corporate drama playing out in Silicon Valley. No, we're talking about the fundamental tools of our daily lives. The smartphone in your pocket, the search engine you use a dozen times a day, potentially becoming relics. Things we tell our kids about.
All right, so after all that chaos, what happens next? Let's get into the next stage, Phase 2. After the dust from the upheaval settles, the winners don't just sit back. They start building new empires, expanding their control from the digital world into the very pillars of civilization itself.
And just look at the sheer scale of the ambition here. I mean, it's breathtaking. NVIDIA moves into nuclear power because guess what? All those power-hungry AIs need a massive, dedicated energy source. Another one of these titans is projected to merge with a company like SpaceX to control the internet from orbit. Apple dives headfirst into healthcare, buying up big pharma companies. And Microsoft sets its sights on interfacing directly with our thoughts. They're not just making software anymore. They're seizing the levers that control reality.
And you can bet this leads to a massive new kind of conflict. On one side, you've got the old world nation-states trying to hang on to control, trying to ban these tech giants to protect their citizens' data. But on the other side, you have the rise of what are being called digital sovereignties, where corporate-backed currencies actually become more stable than some national ones. It's a direct challenge to the very idea of a country.
And the end goal of this phase is maybe the most mind-bending concept of all. The projection suggests that by 2038, Microsoft's ultimate product is a human OS, an operating system that moves beyond screens and keyboards entirely to an interface where you control technology just by thinking. No typing, no swiping, you just think, and it happens.
Which brings us to the projected endgame, Phase 3, the planetary takeover. Between 2040 and 2045, this war is basically over. The winners aren't just building empires anymore. They're morphing into something totally beyond our current understanding of what a company even is.
So what does this actually look like on the ground? Well, the projection gives us this concept of an e-city, pioneered by Amazon. Picture this, a private, fully automated city where your rent and your food are totally free.
So what's the price? The catch? A life that is 100% connected to their ecosystem. You're living inside the ultimate walled garden, providing an endless stream of data.
And the lines between tech and biology they dissolve. By 2043, the forecast has us thinking about a world where we don't just update our phones, we update our bodies. Could you really just download a biological update for, say, a medical implant straight from the Apple or Microsoft cloud?
Which, it forces us to ask a really fundamental question about our place in all of this. In this new planetary system, what are we? Are we still clients that they're trying to serve, or have we become something else? Just data points to be managed in a giant planetary scale spreadsheet?
Because by 2045, that's exactly what these things have become. They're no longer companies in any way we'd recognize. The term used is global intelligences. Think vast planetary-scale systems that are actively managing global logistics, energy grids, maybe even the climate itself.
So, after all that, after 2 decades of this digital war, who won? Let's take a look at the final analysis. How did each of these titans actually do? What does the final scorecard look like?
The projected results here are pretty stark. Right at the top, you have 2 undisputed champions, Microsoft/OpenAI and NVIDIA. One is the gray matter, the intelligence, and the other is the fuel, the chips and energy that make it all run. Apple, in this scenario, kind of mutates into something new, a manager of human integrity, overseeing our health and our neural links. Google is the great survivor, the one that managed to reinvent itself using quantum AI. And Meta? Well, Meta is still the big gamble, its entire fate hanging on whether or not humanity decides to fully plug into a virtual life.
And all of this leaves us with one final and honestly pretty critical question to chew on. In this world of 2045, as you download your next biological update inside your corporate-run city, who really holds your citizenship? Is it the country you were born in, or is it the cloud provider you subscribe to?